Welcome to Demolition Success Secrets, the podcast that's changing the game for demolition businesses everywhere. Ever wondered how a wrecking ball wielding industry can leverage digital marketing to dominate their market? Well, we've got the blueprints, strategies, expert guests, and more to show you how. Stay tuned, because we're about to blast through the barriers of your business.
All right, welcome Demo Dudes and Demo Divas. This is Chayton Maycott with another episode of Demolition Success Secrets. We have a really awesome guest out right now. He's in New Orleans, Louisiana. We have Patrick. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Patrick, how did you get started in your business? How did you get started in the space?
Kind of ironic. Years and years ago, when I first started out working as a young man, I'd say I was I was 22, I think it was. I was working for a company and I wound up getting a CDL. Worked for them for a little while, and then Hurricane Katrina came. Obviously, everybody knows about that. And it took me onto a different career path. I actually worked for one of the local big box companies, doing selling rental tools and stuff like that, and managing a pro desk. And push come to shove, and I wound up getting laid off from that job. Well, I had maintained my CDL, and a good friend of mine at the time called me and said, "Man, I heard what went on. I have a truck open. Come get in it." So the next day, I basically started working for a demolition company, and the rest is history. I worked myself up from the ground. I started as a truck driver and moving equipment, then started doing some actual demo work in a machine, and I did that for quite a while, and kind of doubled as a foreman, site superintendent, as you would say, and then moved on was recruited by a bigger company and went to them, and now I am the demolition superintendent for them.
That's amazing. Cool. What does a day in the life look like? An average day, I know every day is different. That's kind of the fun of what you guys do. It might be some of the headache of what you do, but an average day, let's say, for Patrick, what is that behind the scenes about?
It just depended on how the workload is. I can run for anywhere from my main house demo crew to right now, at this present point, I'm running 3 different jobs, which some of it varies in different types of demo. Like this one I'm sitting on right now is a parking lot demo that they're building a big parking garage in.
Cool.
Still have my crew running the houses. We have a contract with the city that we do all the intimate danger and blighted housing. So we deal with a lot of shaky buildings, I guess you would say, buildings that are possibly fallen or have fell. And so a day, it's hard for me to pinpoint a typical day because my days change pretty much every day.
Okay, gotcha. So maybe what does a good day look like, and then we'll go on to the next one of what is a tough day in your life for the business.
A tough day for me is, I guess it's just a few of them I've had tough. I've been called out to jobs where family homes have burned down through the course of the night, or an abandoned house was next door to it and vagrants set it on fire and burned the homeowner's house next door, and they were displaced. I've been in an excavator in full breathing apparatuses, taking down a building that was on fire because the fire department couldn't put it out because it was a center block building, and wow. The metal roof collapsed on it. Oof. And they put me. Yeah, that was a little sketchy.
Yeah, but, at least. That's
yeah. But I've worked with the New Orleans Fire Department and various other agencies across the metro area. We've done anything from pulled cars out of buildings that were collapsed on top of them to use trained dogs to sniff and try to find cadavers that were in buildings. Oof. So my days vary a lot.
Okay, so those were the challenging days. What is a good day like, other than collecting a check from the GC or getting the paycheck? I guess a good day meaning, what's a good project for you guys? What are some of your favorite types of projects?
I more enjoy doing the bigger buildings, because it's just something that, I can focus on one project. A demo that takes me 3-4 months to do. Those are the ones that I have more. I don't want to say more pride in, but I have pride in all of my work. But
Sure.
I just those are more fun, I guess you would say, if you want to call it something. It's more fun to me because it's always a challenge, and you got different obstacles, to where the houses are. I mean, they're pretty much cookie cutter. I know I'm going to deal with a, a blighted house, and I already know it's, we got to maybe put bracing on it, or, but a good day for me, honestly, man, is my guys having a good, profitable week and going home to see their families every day. That's a good day for me.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It makes sense. The bigger the project, the more challenging, the more fun. It's just like someone who's, doing construction. It's great to build a house, but what's cool too is building a skyscraper. I mean, that's something like you guys are kind of landscape architects in a way. Yes, you're tearing stuff down, but in some cases you guys are tearing down to make something even cooler than what was there before. Do you have any projects that come to mind, like arenas or skyscrapers or anything? You can list 2, 3, however many you want. You don't even need to say the building's name or anything, but maybe how many floors, or how big it was by square footage. Anything that's like real memorable from your career in demo.
I have three that probably stand out as far as, two of them were two of my bigger projects. We did a 9-story hotel that they were tearing down to make way for some new roadways coming in, some new flyovers, and we wound up having to sub out the job because of we don't own a high reach machine. There's not enough work in the metro area that we would deal with high reach machines. So we subbed out and had a company come in with a high reach. They did the building. I just managed the job. That's one that stuck out because, it basically was my first 9-story building I had ever torn down. And then I did a 3-story building that was roughly about 350,000 square feet. It was the local newspaper here in town, and they made way for I don't even know what they're building over there now, but that was a challenge because we had a big issue with theft, and they were going in there every night stealing scrap and stuff like that, and we were literally shooing them out of the buildings every morning.
Jeez, that
And
scrap
then
a lot of money.
yeah, and it's a shame, man, but it is what it is. But I guess the most memorable one would be probably the building that collapsed in the French Quarter that I did quite a few years back. It collapsed, and we had to go in and take it out. And I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of New Orleans' French Quarter or been in the
Oh yeah,
French Quarter, but
been there
it's
many times.
buildings upon buildings slammed against each other, and you're trying to pick one out in between the middle of two of them, and it's just pretty challenging.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful place. Like we said in the pre-interview, the food is amazing. The people can be the best. They could also be a little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending at what time of day, it's funny. The French Quarter, it's like it's amazing most of the time, but man, it could be very smelly from the partiers, and it could be a little bit scary if you're out there late. Especially
No
the
doubt.
last few years, it's become very dicey in some instances. But boy, you can't beat the food. You can't beat the Southern hospitality, all those sorts of things. Those are some cool projects. Now, what separates y'all between the other companies out there? Like, what really makes a good demolition company is my question.
Um, I think transparency is one of the biggest things with demo companies. Our problem down here, we deal with a lot. We have a lot of outside companies or even some local small companies.
Mm.
They'll come in and they basically will underbid a job just to get it, and then you hear the horror stories that the contractor dealt with dealing with the demo company because they didn't do what they were doing, said they were going to do. And, that's probably honestly, that is one of our biggest issues down here in this area. It's like, I mean, these demo companies, just somebody gets a skid steer and a trash trailer and they think they're a demo company and can go demo big buildings. And I'm not picking on little guys because look, everybody starts somewhere. I get it, I understand it,
Oh yeah.
but it's they don't have the overhead we have, and we pride ourselves in every 3-4 years we're purchasing new equipment, turning in old equipment to have our fleet up to snuff. We have a fleet of over 40 machines. But we also do a lot of civil work too, so that we're not just mainstream demo.
Right. And that's a great question. So essentially the chuck in a truck, we call them, those people we've been seeing are kind of phasing out. It is important to have good reviews online. It is important to have a website, while it's not mandatory. What would you say on that? The website, the reviews, things like that. How important are those to a legitimate demo company, a higher quality firm like you guys?
It's very important, and obviously, it goes without saying, word of mouth is obviously your biggest promoter.
Oh yeah.
And that is one thing that we definitely, or at least myself and the company I work for, pride ourselves on, is we do a ton of private bid demo where we're asked to come demo the work, and bid the work, and basically are told, look, you're not, get your prices in line with this, and you got the job. We do a ton of that type of work. We do some public bid work, and that's the ones where I can take you as an outsider from the New Orleans area or anyone else and go to a public bid, and I'll point to the people that are going to win the bid. I know who's going to win them. They come in, they're very low. When we just bid a couple different projects in the local area for the same entity, and one of them, they left over $200,000 on the table. The other one left $160,000 on the table, and it's like, we cannot operate at the money that they're charging. It's below our cost, and it doesn't allow, and it hurts because it's projects that we wanted. It's
right.
Projects that we're geared to do, and then these guys come in and they don't have the stipulations that we work under. They don't have they don't carry the insurance we carry. Their overhead's obviously way lower than ours, so I guess they can bid them that low, and it's tough, man. It's a tough market in this area.
Right. Now, are those guys losing money on those jobs? Like they're coming and going, they're doing new LLCs. Like, how are they even doing that?
I don't know. It's funny you say that, because it's actually kind of we will have a pre-bid meeting, and we'll do the mandatory, or the pre-bid on-site meeting with the GCs and yada yada yada, and then we'll internally we'll have a pre-bid meeting, go over the numbers, crunch the numbers, and it's almost like it's a going joke. We'll get the notes from the pre-bid conference and see who's there, and we're like, honestly, some of us sometimes we'll take bets and see who's winning, who's going to win the bids, and most of the time we're right.
That's wild. And I would have to assume these guys are either breaking even or they're just making money off the scrap, and that's they're not even making a ton of money on the normal job itself. How big is scrap in the business for you guys? How big is scrap in the business for maybe those little players?
I'm going to say, it can be big. The one of the jobs that we bid and we lost out, the one that they left $200,000 on the table, it probably had 100 to 120,000 in scrap on it.
Okay.
It wasn't a massively big scrap job, but it had some decent money on it. And if they put that on top of there, yeah, maybe they're making the money on the scrap, and maybe that's what they're working off of, and that's kind of the conversation we've had with it. Maybe that's what they're banking on, is the scrap to make the money. But it's just hard to gamble on that, because you don't know exactly how much scrap is going to be in that job. And yeah, I can go pinpoint and get really close, but I can't give you a guaranteed number to where we're gonna bank our house on it. We do take some consideration for scrap, but we don't bet a job on it.
Right. Yeah. Especially when you have people running in, stealing stuff left and right, and you guys are having to get security. And man, I've even heard with some demo companies, their own team, they're getting concerned about people taking scrap. Like literally some of my clients, the owners are having to be on site just because the scrap is so valuable. They're worried about their subs or their own guys, or of course people who are nefarious coming and taking some copper or coming and taking beams and things like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. It's that double-edged sword that you deal with. You're going to try to get all the scrap and make the money on the scrap, but then you got to constantly worry about either internally or externally losing the money in scrap, and then just it will make your job come up short, and then you're not going to make the money you need to make. And unfortunately, that's how some people lose their businesses and get put out of business.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair. And that's where you guys can shine, because while these other people in certain instances are getting these bids, you guys know what's good and what's not. Like we say with our clients, cherry picking is the place that you want to be. You want so much opportunity that you can hand select and cherry pick and not have to be worrying about, well, we got to take the deal to keep the guys busy. And maybe we'll make some money, maybe we'll lose some money. That's a terrible place to be.
Yeah, and I truly believe that is what some of these smaller companies are doing. Basically, they're bidding them just to keep their lights on, and that's it's tough to go against that.
That's crazy. Okay, well, and again, like the real deal shines through because you guys, I assume, are more interested in years and decades, and I don't want to get into centuries and stuff. That's quite a while, but you guys are interested in the years and decades, and those guys are worried about the month and the quarter. And their business will go left or right based on that kind of short-minded mentality that I guess they feel they have to have. I don't know if they have to have it or not, but
Right.
yeah, you guys are long haul. I mean, I have clients that talk about generational sorts of outlooks on the business, and that kind of seems like you guys you're more focused on the long haul.
We are a generational company. We're in the technically, I guess they're in the third generation.
Amazing. Well, cool. Tell me some thoughts, when you got in the business versus now, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you would tell yourself when you were starting off in the business that you've learned, through the experience, through the years? What are those 2 or 3 things that you would say, hey, Patrick, a few years ago when you started, I wish I would have known these things rather than had to learn them the hard way?
Bidding jobs, looking at jobs. We have a team of estimators. So I do get involved in all the bidding, but I'm basically on the equipment. What equipment needs to be used on the job site, and a time frame type deal. The estimators are the ones that crunch the numbers and figure out quantities and stuff like that. But if I had to do it all over again, when I was in college, I would have preferred to change my career and went to college for construction, so I would have that background when I got started. But I honestly, man, I'll be honest with you, I really wouldn't change many things, because I learned it from the ground up, and that's how I feel that you're going to get your best knowledge. You take, again, this is no dig to anyone in the business anywhere, but you take a book smart guy and put him in an office day one, and you take a guy that's got 15 years with no education, but he's got 15 years in the field. I'd take the 15 years in the field over a book smart guy any day of the week.
Oh yeah, hands down. I've always said that for the longest time. My buddy got his MBA, Masters of Business, and he was becoming, I think he got it when he was about 26. He was becoming the boss of guys who were 45 years old. And I was just like, could you imagine? They got a piece of paper, and my friend is smart, he's put together everything like that. But could you imagine being a 45-year-old and having to ask your 26-year-old boss for time off so you can go spend it with your family?
Yep.
I don't know.
I see it all the time. Trust me, I
crazy.
see it all the time.
I couldn't imagine that. Or that your 26-year-old quote unquote boss is making more than you, and you're 45 as an example. You've been in the business for 20 years, in that specific business, maybe even at that specific company for 20 years. And some kid pretty much comes out of nowhere with a piece of paper, and now all of a sudden is supposed to know more than you. It's just insane. I did the college route. I studied, marketing, which is what my company does now. But yeah, I never was one to to want to look into it like that. It's just crazy. So with growing the business, you guys have been doing this for quite some time. Are there ways that you guys do it, or kind of advancing growing the business and getting more opportunities? Are you guys just so busy you aren't necessarily needing more opportunities? Where is that growth, and how do you fuel the growth of the company?
Um, Fueling the growth of the company, it obviously is having the right people and the right personnel in all the places to allow yourself to grow. We are actually in the process of trying to, step it to the next level. It's hard being a small company trying to get to a big company. That it's a very fine line of being either or, and it's like
Mm,
you go from a company of 100 employees to trying to be a company of 200 or 300 employees, and it becomes, that's just a different mindset you have to have. But as far as growing, man, I think honestly, down here in this area, I'm gonna say it again, it's just word of mouth and relationships with customers, and having them trust you to do the other types of work that you're trying to do. A big push down here for some other companies that I have friends working at is industrial type work, stuff like that. There's a ton of that going on down here in plants and stuff like that. And, that's a whole nother animal dealing with plants. You have to have the right personnel that can get in plants. I mean, some people can't, or they won't allow them in a plant.
right.
So it's, like to grow a company, man, it just takes time, patience, and it honestly takes money.
Yeah. Yeah, connections, money, lineage, experience, that kind of stuff. Okay. So are you guys doing anything particular? Like, let's say, I don't know, with your business, you're not going to go advertise in a newspaper, you're not going to do a billboard. Is it just more attending the right networking events, I would say?
Yes.
Okay.
The higher ups, or as I call it, the ones in the corner offices,
Right.
they're the ones beating the street, meeting the people and getting to work, and trying to get some new work and get into do different type of work. But being a civil contractor and doing what we do, there's a ton of it down here. And you can grow a company. It just depends on how much you want to grow the company.
Yeah. And you guys have visions. You want to grow big, but also strong. A lot of these companies out there, they just see big, 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 and they forget about growing strong. They're going to be 8 feet tall but skinny, and the moment they get on the basketball court, someone's going to bump into them and break them. As you guys are looking to be like a strong 6'8", you're already 6'2", and you're just trying to bulk up and get a little taller. It sounds like.
That's exactly what we're doing. We're just basically trying to build our portfolio and maybe get into a couple different things and a little bit of different type of working, but obviously keep the mainstream civil work and site prep work and stuff like that going.
Okay, beautiful. Well, Patrick, this has been awesome. I got a few more minutes with you. Want to make use of it. Is there anything that you want to kind of fill in the blanks, or give any extra wisdom or thoughts, or get any attention on you, etc., that you want to share over the next few minutes?
Yeah. I've got a few friends that are ironically enough in the same business, and they're the smaller fries. And I've sat and talked with them, and you know, um, we maintain a professional relationship, but they're still friends.
Oh yeah.
But like I told them, don't outgrow your britches. Um,
Mm,
you'll get yourself in a bind real quick trying to take on something that you're not equipped to take on. I know when you look at a bid and you see it, oh man, it's $600,000 demo, I can handle that. And well, you gotta, there's some demos that you have to front money for 120, 160 days. And, it gets a lot of people in trouble.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I guess just don't bite off more than you can chew.
Mm,
Take it slow, take your time with it, grow it slowly. Slow and steady wins the race all the time.
oh yeah. The po' boy is great. Just it's not great in one bite.
No, yeah,
You gotta have a few
enjoy
bites.
the entire sandwich.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's helpful. Yeah, I mean, really, this has been super insightful. You've really had a good experience, it seems like. What about the future of Demolition for obviously for you guys, sounds like it's amazing, just focused on growth, growing strong while growing, bigger. What do you think of the industry at large? Are you guys, maybe not for your company, but for the business people in this space, is there a concern with the economy? Are people freaking out? Or are a lot of jobs not going through? Or you guys pretty excited and just say, hey, look, the skies are blue?
We are excited, man. We're going to hit some record growth numbers this year.
Wow.
And we're going to actually hit some goals that we had set out, or the company had set out. I'm pretty sure we're going to reach them in the next 2 weeks, or before the next 2 weeks are up.
That's huge. Right after the year ends. That's
Yes,
awesome.
it is. It is. It is. And it just, I don't see demo in this Metro New Orleans area going away anytime soon.
I don't either.
You can, hell, you can look on New Orleans' website. They got a big high rise that they're getting proposed demolition numbers on, because it's a vacant building and the owner, I don't even know the story about it, but it's falling apart and the city wants the building down. But I mean, you're talking a multi-level high rise, probably in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 floors, if I had to guess.
Wow.
And that's obviously something that's a little out of our realm of work. We don't really, that's a different type of work. But man, I see potential down here in New Orleans for growth. I hate to see that, because then there'll be more trucks in the truck coming down here looking for land. But it's a unique market down here, man. As we have landfills on either side of the city within 20 minutes. I'm on a few sites that demolition sites, and I hear these guys talk about they got an hour and a half turnaround to get to a landfill, and it's like, man, we're 20 minutes out the city, or not even out the city, actually in the city. It's just on the outskirts of it. And then, our hazmat dump is 45 minutes away from here. We're fortunate. There's a ton of work going on around here. There's a lot of some positive things going on in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
And the city's trying to grow and trying to be strong. And if they could just get the crime rate down, we'd be great.
Yeah. That's fair. That is fair. That's awesome. And as more good people are attracted to the city, right, more of the less savory people will be detracted because they either can't afford it or the government won't subsidize certain areas and things. So yeah, the more good people that come there, the better. And that's interesting. So you don't even see the business as very cyclical, because I don't entirely see demo as cyclical. Of course, when the economy's hot and developers want to put up new skyscrapers and apartment complex and stuff, that can help drive more deals. But you've been in the game long enough. You've seen other companies who've been doing this for, generations, decades, etc. The cycles of the economy doesn't sound like it totally makes a difference in your business. Unlike a realtor, unlike a mortgage lender or something who feels those up and downs pretty big.
Yes, we see it a little bit. We'll feel it. There was a few times throughout, over the past few years, and obviously, I don't want to say the word, but that old Corona thing kind of put a big damper on some projects down here. But as it did across the world. But it seemed like it just picked right back up, and we moved right along, and we kept working. And yeah, work was slow, and there were some times that we had some lulls, but we always had a project that we could go do or get done. And now we're at the point right now where we're hiring temps. We're looking at more equipment. We just bought 3 more trucks. We're growing, and it's a good thing right now. It's a good pain to have right now.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love it. All right. Well, my last question, and then the floor is open to you, or we'll cap off the podcast, is, as you guys are growing, you mentioned kind of the difficulties of payments and fronting money and things like that. Are you guys still keeping a big eye out for like insurance deals and the house deals? I know you guys did mention houses getting torn down. Those things that kind of pay quicker and can help kind of, how do I say it? Keep the money floating, money coming in. Is that something that you guys see a lot of? And are those appealing when you can get those bids at a nice price?
Yeah, when the private jobs are obviously, the I guess you would call it the lump sum jobs.
Right.
Those are the ones that, we really, really, truly go after. The house demo with the city contract stuff. That's just a long term deal. It's that keeps basically it keeps the demos lights on. But we're after the big lump sum projects. Go in 30, 60 days, roll out, collect the check at the end of the job, and you're done. Type
Right.
work. We're not geared towards single home demolition. I have several contracting friends that throughout the years have called me, and I've told them time and time again, yeah, I'll come bid the job, but you're not going to like my price. It's our overhead. It's just obviously, we have our own lowboy that moves our own equipment that has, I have an estimator involved in the job. I have a project manager involved in the job. I have a superintendent involved, a foreman. Whereas, the smaller companies, they're geared to go do these single houses and, onesies and twosies here and there. But we do the onesies and twosies, but it's on a bigger scale. It's a larger scale, more commercial type stuff instead of residential stuff.
Right. Okay.
But
And yeah, I'm sure you have partners and people who you could hand those off to and say, hey,
yes, we
it's
do.
not for us, but we know some good people. Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. Well, awesome, Patrick. Do you have anything else you'd like to add? Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up the podcast here.
No, man, I think I'm good. I appreciate the time.
That's a wrap for this episode of Demolition Success Secrets. Stay tuned and subscribe for more explosive insights from our upcoming episodes. Until then, continue to blow up your demolition business and make the competition rubble in your path.